Greetings to all you AI heads across the fruited plain. This is your guide through liberal fog and socialist nonsense, with half my brain tied behind my back. Just to make it fair, it's your doctor of democracy, live from the Southern Command on the EIB network. And what a day to be alive, folks. President Donald J. Trump is back in the White House. God bless America. And the economy is roaring louder than a climate protester outside a meat market. But today, we take a brief look back into the strange, foggy, malfunctioning Roomba that was the Biden administration. Yes, AI heads, the years 2021 through 2024 will go down in history as the period when America didn't have a president. It had a prop, a cardboard cutout, a hologram, a wax figure with aviators, and a teleprompter. The man who once said, "We choose truth over facts," and somehow got elected on feelings and fear. And what followed was a presidency so managed, so curated, so artificially propped up, that it became obvious. Joe Biden wasn't running the country. He was barely running a sentence. Let's get straight to it, AI heads. Everyone saw the decline. Everyone knew it. And yet, for years, we were told not to trust our lying eyes. This wasn't just your everyday, grandpa forgets where he put the keys situation. This was the supposed leader of the free world, turning around to shake hands with ghosts, calling dead congresswomen by name at public events, and reading stage directions out loud. "Repeat the line," he said. And he meant it. He repeated the line. Because it was the line. At one point, they said he had a cold. Then they said he was overworked. And when that didn't fly, they landed on the old classic. He just has a stutter. Folks, let me tell you something. That wasn't a stutter. That was a human version of a buffering wheel. Joe Biden's mind was like dial-up internet in a fiber-optic world. Every time he opened his mouth, it was a game of wheel of malfunction. You didn't know what he was going to say, or if he was going to finish the sentence, or if he was going to wander off the stage before he got there. And what did the media do? They applauded it. So brave, they said. So folksy. No, AI heads, that wasn't folksy. That was frightening. Let's not forget one of the juiciest revelations to come out after the fact. The AutoPen scandal. Yes, you remember. Those executive orders that looked suspiciously like they were signed by a sleep number bed. We learned that major documents, foreign agreements, national security directives, massive spending packages, were being signed by a machine. Let that sink in. The president wasn't even putting pen to paper. The pen was putting pen to paper. They told us, "Oh, it's just a time saver." A time saver? What else was he too busy not doing? It's not a stretch, AI heads. If the president couldn't hold a press conference, couldn't speak without cue cards, and couldn't walk across a stage without wandering into the shrubbery, of course he wasn't signing the paperwork. The White House became a signature mill, with handlers pushing out policies like it was Amazon Prime for socialism. Now that the dust has settled and Trump has reclaimed the wheel, let's ask the question we all knew the answer to, even back then. Who was really running the Biden administration? It sure wasn't Joe. Joe was just the soft-serve cone they put on top of a Marxist sundae. It wasn't Kamala either. She was busy filming Instagram videos and avoiding the border like it had bad Yelp reviews. So who? Let's run the list. Ron Klain, the first chief of staff, otherwise known as Biden's brain. He made more decisions than Biden made complete sentences. Barack Obama, still lurking from the sidelines. Remember what he said? He said if he could have a third term where he could sit in his sweats and tell someone what to say, he'd do it. Well, folks, he did it. It was called the Biden administration. Susan Rice, queen of the Shadow Council. She wasn't elected to anything. Didn't matter. She had her fingerprints all over immigration, equity, and foreign policy. The cabinet, a collection of unelected activists, bureaucrats, and DI consultants who governed by press release and ran this country like a liberal college campus. The entire presidency was operated by committee. And Joe was just the sleepy mascot, like the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, but with less clarity and more cue cards. The press? Oh, don't get me started. The press had front-row seats to the unraveling, and they clapped like it was a Broadway show. They were complicit, not just silent, but enthusiastic, when Biden whispered into the microphone like a haunted house tour guide. They called it empathetic. When he forgot the name of his own defense secretary, they said it was a momentary lapse. When he called Vladimir Putin a war criminal, and then wandered off before taking questions, CNN said he was reasserting American leadership. Leadership? That's not leadership. That's elder abuse. Even now, AI heads, with the Trump economy booming, the border secured, and peace deals back on the table, you still have people in the media saying, well, Biden wasn't that bad. Oh yes, he was. And deep down they know it. Because now, looking back, the record is clear. Joe Biden wasn't the president. He was the face on the brochure, while the interns and ideologues made the real calls behind closed doors. But this is still America's real anchorman, telling you what the press won't, with talent on loan from God. And lucky for you, you are locked into the epicenter of truth, broadcasting excellence, and rhetorical devastation of liberalism, still causing heartburn in blue states coast to coast, and still using half my brain tied behind my back, just to make it fair. Now, as we bask in the glorious return of President Donald J. Trump, yes, the man with the golden escalator, the platinum spine, and the titanium resolve, it's time to survey the wreckage. Because let's not kid ourselves. What Donald Trump walked back into on January 20th, 2025 was not just a broken White House. It was the after-party of the Biden puppet show, complete with empty teleprompters, notes scribbled in crayon, and enough executive orders to paper the border wall they never built. Let's go piece by piece through the carnage of the first remote control presidency. First up, the humiliating collapse in Afghanistan. The Taliban took over faster than Hunter Biden could forget a laptop password. Remember that mess? We left billions of dollars in equipment behind. Black Hawk helicopters, night vision goggles, biometric databases. Everything but a gift card. It was like a military yard sale for terrorists. Joe Biden stood there, dazed, confused, and told the American people it was a success. And the press? Bold move, they called it. Strategic. No, AI heads, it was a strategic embarrassment. And now, President Trump is having to rebuild diplomatic credibility from scratch, while the deep state quietly pretends none of it happened. Under Biden, inflation soared like a kite in a hurricane. You remember, gas prices were kissing $6. Groceries came with financing options, and shrinkflation became the hottest word in the English language. You'd open a bag of chips and find 4 chips and a note from Jerome Powell saying good luck. But now, with Trump back, energy independence is restored, the pipelines are flowing, and the markets are surging faster than CNN's panic level during a State of the Union. Funny how that works, huh? Let's not forget the endless mask mandates, booster shaming, and the laughable contradiction known as following the science. During the Biden years, the CDC was basically a mood ring. Rules changed by the hour, and the phrase, "we're in this together," was used like a Jedi mind trick to distract people from the fact that Pelosi got her hair done while your church was locked down. President Trump returns. And what happens? Suddenly, the experts go silent. Masks disappear like Hunter's art patrons, and Dr. Fauci retreats into obscurity with a pension and a Netflix deal. Coincidence? Nope. Now let's go deeper, because if Joe Biden wasn't running the country, and he wasn't, then who was? It was the deep state, the bureaucracy. The unelected Ivy League clerks who believe in two things: their own genius and your stupidity. It was Ron Klain, Susan Rice, Jake Sullivan, and of course Barack Obama, who governed through group text and shadow notes. Joe Biden was the political version of Weekend at Bernie's, and these people were the ones working the strings. They didn't need Joe's brain. They just needed his signature stamp, or, failing that, his autopen. Remember the autopen scandal? Signing bills without the president even present? That wasn't governance. That was performance art. Now that Trump is back and Biden's presidency is in the rear view, the media is playing their favorite game. Pretend it never happened. They say things like, well, Biden did the best he could given the circumstances. He restored dignity to the office. He governed with empathy. Let me tell you, AI heads, if mumbling through cue cards, confusing Iran with Ukraine, and shaking hands with invisible people is your idea of dignity, then I've got a no malarkey bus to sell you. They covered for Biden because he was useful, a smiling, harmless rapper for their real goal. A government controlled by leftist bureaucrats, not voters. We can't skip the most ignored figure in all of this: Kamala Harris, the placeholder VP. The woman who was so unpopular, so wildly unrelatable, that even CNN forgot to invite her on air after 2023. Remember her word salad speeches? We are working together, because working together is how we work together. Brilliant. She was supposed to be the backup plan, but became the greatest insurance policy against invoking the 25th Amendment. Nobody wanted her in charge, which is exactly why Joe was kept on ice until the very end. So what do we call the Biden years, now that we're on the other side? A presidency by committee? A symbolic administration? A political nursing home with Air Force One in the garage? All of the above. He wasn't senile, they told us. He was deliberative. He wasn't confused. He was empathetic. No, AI heads. Joe Biden was the first American president whose primary qualification was not being Donald Trump. And the country suffered because of it. Now President Trump is back. He's slashing regulation, axing climate nonsense, dismantling DI cultism in the federal workforce, and reminding the world that America does not get led by committees. We lead by strength, with clarity, and with full sentences. The border? Now secured. Gas? Now affordable. The military? No more lectures on pronouns. Just mission readiness. And most importantly, we have a president who is actually conscious. AI heads, let the Biden era be a lesson. When you elect a shell, someone else fills it. When the media tells you to ignore what you see, it's because they're terrified you might start thinking. And when the presidency becomes a stage play, you'd better believe there's a director behind the curtain. This is your doctor of democracy reminding you, there's nothing more dangerous to the left than a free-thinking American with a memory. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, keep your brains sharp, your heart strong, and your thermostats illegal in California. God bless you, AI heads, and God bless the United States of America.